Honestly, what we expected from this fight, we got it. This was a really solid fight. I would say it was a banger, to be honest. One of the better fights of 2023, in my opinion. You had two solid names in Jaime Munguia versus Derevyanchenko. But before we do get into the fight, we are all takes no whiffs. I'm Christian. That's Alex. And yeah, as I mentioned, we had a banger of a fight between Jaime Munguia versus Sergiy Derevyanchenko. And Munguia comes out on top in a controversial decision. Once again, we've been talking about a lot of controversial decisions lately, but I don't want to say it was. I don't think it was too controversial because it was a really solid fight back and forth.
Oh yeah, and they came out guns blazing from the very beginning. That first round, I think it was like a minute 30 left in the first round, and both of those guys were just throwing haymakers back and forth. They were just going at each other, and I was like, if this is what we're going to get for 12 rounds, I am ready for this. This could be potential fight of the year. I know at one point it kind of was looking like potential fight of the year, but kind of the back half of the fight, I would say like ninth round on, the fight kind of started to slow down and then picked up again in the 11th and 12th. But I mean, this was just a really good fight overall. I wouldn't say Sergey was robbed, but I do think that this fight could have gone either way, to be honest. But that Munguia knockdown is what won him the fight. And I think everyone can say that.
Yeah, honestly, I would have to say that was the difference. I think the scorecards emulate that really well. And yeah, Derenchenko, I think he probably did enough to get a draw with the knockdown included. Like even with that knockdown in mind, it could argue that it could have been a draw. But also, like you said, it could have gone either way at the end of the day. So it's just, yeah, I can't argue robbery. All I could say really is this was great, and they could probably run it back. But both of these guys also have options in their weight class.
Oh, yeah, and honestly, I would love to see them run it back. I know Sergey, he said that after the fight too. He thinks that he probably won the fight. I know he looked super disappointed when the results came out and during his post fight interview. So I would love to see a rematch. But is there anyone else you would like to see him fight too?
Uh, for Sergey, or just either of them.
Either one.
Either one. Okay, for Sergey, outside of a rematch, which would probably be his top option for me. There's just a couple names around 168. I don't want to say he deserves like a shot against Benavidez, like guys along those lines, because those guys are up
No.
next in line for the Canelo fight, in my opinion. But dang, honestly, a rematch. A rematch would be the top way to go, or maybe a guy who's trying to get his way back up, and he kind of ties into who I want to see next for Munguia. But honestly, either of them, if they could get in the ring with Caleb Plant, I think that'd be a solid matchup at 168. Especially that Munguia, even though he's a relevant fighter, it's only his second fight at 168 if he were to match up with Plant.
Oh yeah, and Plant's coming off a loss against David Benavidez, so I mean, I think that would be a pretty good fight. Definitely another, I would probably say, step up fight for Munguia because I think Caleb Plant's
Mm-hmm.
a really good fighter too. So that'd be two really good fights back to back if they can't get a rematch going with Sergey. But honestly, it was a really solid fight overall. I'm honestly really looking forward to seeing if these guys do get back in the ring together because I think they'll have another banger.
Yeah, and it's easy to make, to be honest. I feel like Sergey is definitely not one of those guys that he's gonna like try to strong arm his side of negotiations ever. I think he's gonna get in the ring with these big names because he's trying to, at the end of the day, still prove himself. But as for Munguia, I think this is a fight that it's not too risky to take the rematch on. I think we saw that Sergey is not going to stop him because of the shots that he ate. So there's no risk in that, and he could just improve and maybe show how much of a difference that he's improved since the last fight. But I'm really looking forward to what's next for these guys. And honestly, they have a ton of options around 160 and 168.
Yeah, there's a ton of options around 160 and 168, but I will say one thing before we get out of here. I thought it was really interesting that Mungia's side tried to get this fight down to 10 rounds before or last week or before the week before this fight started. It was very interesting how they didn't want to do 12, but obviously Sergey's team didn't want to do that, and I think it actually helped Mungia out in this fight, probably won him the fight too. So that's kind of interesting how he wanted it
Mm-hmm.
and then it didn't happen. So just kind of cool or kind of weird thing that happened in this.
Unintentional advantage, I guess. Yeah, like you said, that would have been the difference right there for Sergey. If it was a 10 round fight, that would have been Sergey's fight right there. But uh, luckily, Mugia's team didn't get what they want.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of very lucky on their end. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. And also, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can see us preview some more of these fights, especially for Jaime Munguia and Derevyanchenko. We're going to see them fight again. And then also make sure you follow us on social media right above Christian's head right there. Let us know any of your takes, baseball, boxing, whatever it is. Just let us know there, or let us know down in the comments what you think too. But until next time, peace.
Peace.